Hey mini enthusiasts, how you doing? Welcome back. I hope you're all well and I hope you're having a great day. Today we're back on Project Bruce. In the previous episode I took the cylinder head off and inspected inside the engine. In today's video we're going to overhaul the cylinder head, but we're going to do a bit of hillbilly mechanics. I'm not going to send this head away and get it skimmed, pressure tested and the valve seats cut and things like that, because this project is all about doing it on a budget. It's all about using the bits that I've got left around and doing it in the cheapest way possible so I can sell this car at the end for as cheap as possible and pass it on to someone else so they can put their mark on it and do all the cosmetic bits. So yes, I'm sure people will watch the video today and they might cringe a little bit and think, well, why didn't you just get it skimmed? Why didn't you just do this? The whole reason is because I'm trying to do it for as cheap as possible. Now you will notice there is a brand new Victor Reinz head gasket here. Now that goes against what I was saying about doing things on a budget, because I do have in stock a copper head gasket left over from one of the previous projects. Today's video doesn't go well. I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, there's a bit of a disaster at the end and there's a very good reason why I've blown the budget and spent 21 quid on a Victor Reinz head gasket, but you'll have to watch the video to find out. So the running total, like I say, this is all about doing it as cheaply as possible. I'll stick the number there when I check it. I'm pretty sure it's £2,006 at the moment. So that included buying the car. I've already bought a new battery for it. I sold some rear lights, dual lights that were on the back on eBay. And now I've bought a Victor Reinz head gasket. So the car owes me just over £2,000. And like I say, the whole theme as we go through this will be to do it for a budget. So let me stop waffling. Let's get into this week's video and you can see the problems I'm facing with the engine.
Right, I feel I'm gonna need to get me excuses out because I'm sure there's some people going to be watching this going, no, Keith, send it away and get it skimmed, get it pressure tested, get the valve seats cut, get new valve guides put on it. But if you've been watching this build from the start, this is all about doing a budget restoration, keeping it as cheap as possible. And this engine that's in the car, I really don't know what's going to happen to it. All I want it to do at the moment is to start, run, drive down for its MOT. After that, it may have an engine conversion. Someone may decide to stick a manual in it. It's a 95,000 mile automatic. I do not want to put money into this engine. So it's had a real, I guess, you'd call it a bit of a hillbilly skim or something like that. So I've just used a flat rubbing block. There is 240 grit wet and dry on there, and I'm wetting it down with duck oil. I am quite consistent in the strokes that you put on it, and I absolutely do not do it like this if you've got an aluminium head, because you will just wreck it. Luckily, cast iron is really, really hard material and doesn't rub away very easily. So I've done this before and people have criticised me in the past, and one thing I've always said, you probably can't pick it up on the camera, but you've got all the original machining marks in the head, and those machining marks, the little grooves, are minuscule. They're tiny. They're probably less than a human hair, and you can barely even feel them with your nail. Now if I was rubbing that down and it was taking too much material off, it would also take those machining marks out as well. So again, a bit crude and a bit rough and ready, but I've gone along it with just a set of oh my god, what are they called? Vernier calipers. They're not my, oh god, I'm having a brain fart. Anyway, I know that's a machine straight edge, so I've gone along. It's not big enough to get along the full length of the head, but I've gone sort of diagonally and you can get a good idea. The head doesn't seem to be warped in any way. Again, you'd have seen me going over it with a wire wheel. Again, never do that on an aluminium head because it's just too soft, it'll wreck it. I've used a wire wheel. I should have used brass actually. I did use steel, but I'm gonna, like I say, it's a hard material so it doesn't damage it, but you don't want to go too mad with it. So there is a little bit of wear in the valve guides. It's not too bad, to be honest. Probably within tolerance. The valves are there. They all look pretty good. They're going to get cleaned up. I'm going to lap them in with coarse and then fine paste. Give that head a clean up. I am going to take it out, and all these water galleries, I'm going to steam clean them on the pressure washer to try and get any. They don't look too bad, to be honest, but I'm going to try and clean that head up as best I can with a pressure washer before it goes back in. So next job is to clean up these valves, get them lapped in, get them refitted with new valve guide oil seals, and yeah, continue cleaning up the head. But big caveat, as I say, I know people watching this will go, why don't you get it skimmed? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? This is literally a stick a new head gasket on it, throw it back together, get it running. I mean, I don't even know why I took the valves out, to be honest. It's just because I took them out because it might as well do the valve guide seals while they're here. I've already got a set of valve guide seals, so it's not something I've got to buy. But yeah, the main objective is to get it back together, get it running as cheaply as possible, and then fingers crossed we won't have any more problems with combustion gases getting into the coolant. I'm not going to bore you with the process of lapping in all 8 valves because I'm sure it's probably about as exciting as watching paint dry, but I'm doing coarse and fine. They're the same valves going back in the same guides or the same holes. So, and it had good compression before, to be honest, so it's really, again, it's really only just for a clean up. There's only a small amount of play in the guides, pretty happy with that. Yeah, like I say, let me get on with this and get all the valves lapped in. Right, so that's our head ready to go back on the car now. As I said earlier, it really is just a very quick once over. So I've had all the valves out, I've lapped them back in, I've fitted new valve guide oil seals, and as you'd have seen in the video, I fitted all 8 on the exhaust and inlet, because normally they just have the seals on the inlet, but there's no harm in doing them on exhaust and inlet. And I used a little bit of Loctite on each of the seals, which I saw in one of the SwiftTune videos. I've never done it anymore, but it can't do any harm, just to make sure that they don't come adrift or lift up. So yeah, I've given it a quick lick of paint as well in the Austin Rover Putrid Yellow, which it's actually that one, C71 Speedline. I bought that from Somerford Mini Spares, ½ litre. It will last forever, that. And obviously I've just put the valves back in with my tiny little spring compressor. It does the job just about. It's a bit too small. So yeah, it's not perfect, but like I say, it was just an overhaul really. Obviously I've steam cleaned all the chambers, tried to clean them out as best I can. Just got to get that fitted on the car now. Right, so I've stumbled across a pretty major issue. Obviously that head is fine, ready to go back on now, and I started cleaning up the block. Come and have a look at this. So you'd have seen in the previous video, I hadn't taken the head gasket off the block yet. And when I did take it off and cleaned it up, I noticed something pretty serious. Could be terminal, or it could have been like it for a long time. I don't know how well this is going to come out on the camera, but if you look around cylinder number 3, there is a really deep indentation here. It's not a crack. I've cleaned it off, I've checked it the best I can. I don't think that's a crack at all. It's actually, when I started cleaning up, there was a bulge slightly on the inside coming into the bore. It's like something has been, well, it looks like someone's just hit it with a hammer on the corner there. It's actually, it's not cracked, it's actually indented. There's a dent in there. Now God knows how that's happened. One thing I thought, maybe someone has clamped the head down with something in there. There's been something in between the head, the cylinder head, and the block, and they've clamped it down. I don't know whether that would do that. I wouldn't have thought so. I wouldn't have thought it would apply that much pressure. Or, I don't know, it does almost look like someone's hammered it, hit it with a hammer. But there's a big indentation there which goes right towards that water jacket. So, it's a 95,000 mile engine. Like I said before, it's an automatic. It'll probably at some stage get swapped out of this car and a manual will be put in it, or someone might put a 1275 in it or something like that. I just want to get this engine starting, running and driving, and hopefully good enough to take down for an MOT. So I've got a bit of a plan of action. I am going to put it back together. Yes, that may still cause a problem. However, I'm not convinced, because the head gasket had looked like it had gone in other areas, and when I took it off there was no sign that the head gasket was leaking there. So I think, you know, it's a very, I can feel the indentation with my nail, and maybe the head gasket will take out that imperfection. So contrary to what I said I was going to do, look at this boxing. So I bought a head gasket, a Victor Rines head gasket. They're composite head gaskets, much better quality than those copper type head gaskets, and really with the hope that this composite style head gasket will take out that imperfection and seal it up. But who knows, maybe it won't. If it doesn't, then I've actually not wasted any money. I've wasted the price of a head gasket. Everything else I've got, I had the valve guide oil seals. It's just my time. I'm genuinely really gutted about that, because yeah, I thought I'd found the issue with the head gasket, and maybe I have. Maybe that's always been there, that imperfection. But all I can do now is put it back together, get the head on, run it up, put some water in it, and see if it pressurizes up or not, if it's got any combustion leaks. I've got a combustion leak tester, so I can check afterwards. But yeah, a bit gutted about that. Onwards and upwards. Thanks for watching this week. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down the bottom. Thank you very much. Cheers.